There comes a moment when staying starts to feel heavier than leaving. Not dramatic, not impulsive, just finished. Most people think moving begins with logistics, flights, boxes, paperwork. It doesn't. Movement begins when unfinished parts of your life stop negotiating with you. Because you can change countries and still be carrying the same weight if nothing underneath you has actually been completed. This episode is not about how to move, it's about what must be finished so that when you do leave, you actually arrive. There are 10 thresholds that separate imagining departure from earning it, and once they are crossed, movement stops feeling optional. It starts feeling inevitable. Moving is easy. Leaving is not. Anyone can book a flight. Anyone can imagine a different life. Anyone can picture themselves somewhere else. But imagining movement and earning movement are not the same thing. Most people who struggle after they move did not fail at logistics. They failed at completion. They carried unfinished business into a new place and wondered why it followed them. Unfinished conversations, unfinished decisions, unfinished responsibilities, unfinished versions of themselves that still expect answers. Those things don't stay behind when you change locations. They travel well. This episode is not about whether you can move. It's about what must be finished so that when you do move, the move actually works. Completion is not what separates relocation from transition. Without completion, movement feels unstable. With completion, movement feels grounded. Every meaningful departure in life follows the same rule. You don't leave because you were bored. You don't leave because something went wrong. You leave because something is done. Done debating, done postponing, done carrying the same questions year after year. Completion changes how you stand in your own life. When something is finished, it stops demanding attention. It stops reopening itself at night. It stops draining energy through indecision. It creates space. And space is what allows movement to feel deliberate instead of reactive. Before you move, there are things that must be completed. Not perfected, not optimized. Completed. These are not motivational ideas. They are structural thresholds. Each one removes friction. Each one closes a loop. Each one changes who you are once it's crossed. And once enough of them are completed, movement stops feeling risky and starts feeling necessary. Most people believe preparation means adding more researching, more planning, more backup plans. But preparation that never ends is not preparation. It's avoidance. Completion is uncomfortable because it creates consequences. As long as something is unfinished, you can delay. You can renegotiate. You can tell yourself you're still thinking it through. Completion ends that conversation. When something is finished, the next step becomes visible. Invisibility removes hiding places. So people stay busy instead. They stay productive, they stay responsible, they stay endlessly almost ready. Almost ready feels safe. Almost ready doesn't require courage. But almost ready is a permanent state. Completion breaks that state. Completion creates momentum. This episode is not asking you to do everything at once. It's asking you to finish the right things in the right order. There are 10. Each one clears weight. Each one removes reason to hesitate. Each one turns intention into movement. Step 1. Complete your timeline. A move that lives in vague language will stay imaginary. Not because you're lazy, because your brain treats vague timelines as optional. Next year can mean 12 months or never. Soon can mean a week or a decade. After things settle can mean whatever the next excuse needs to mean. Completion here means you end the vague season. You choose a real window, A quarter of a year, a specific month range, a defined period that forces decisions to become visible. This is not about picking a day and worshiping it. It's about finishing the debate about when. When the window is real, everything reorganizes. Spending starts to behave, commitments start to reveal their true cost. People and projects that were easy to tolerate suddenly feel heavy. That's not a problem, that's the point. A real timeline does not schedule a departure, it exposes what still owns you. And when this step is complete, you stop discussing leaving like a concept. You start living as if it's an approaching reality. Step 2. Complete your money story. This is not budgeting, this is certainty. Most people approach money as a pile of numbers, but money in a move like this is also a nervous system issue. If you don't know what your runway is, you will feel pressure even in a cheap place, and pressure creates bad decisions. Completion here means you know your runway in plain language. How many months can you live calmly if income pauses? How many months if something unexpected happens? How many months before you feel forced to rush into work you hate or panic your way back? This is not pessimism. This is strength. You're not trying to prove that you can survive with nothing. You're trying to ensure you can move without living on the edge of urgency. Completion also means that you stop telling yourself stories that this will work out somehow. Somehow is not a plan. When your money story is complete, you can make clear decisions without flinching. That changes everything that comes after. Step 3. Complete your relationship with possessions. Everything you own represents a decision you've already made. Some of those decisions are still useful, some are expired. Most have never been reevaluated. Possessions are not just objects, they are agreements with your past. Every item you keep asks a question. Is this relevant to the life I'm building, or is this relevant to the life I've already lived? Completion here does not mean stripping your life down to nothing. It means refusing to carry unresolved weight forward. Storage units are not neutral. They are suspended decisions. Boxes labeled later quietly insist that a future version of you will be more decisive than the present one. That rarely happens. Completion means that nothing will be waiting for a future judgment. What stays has earned its place. What goes is finished. When this step is complete, movement becomes lighter in a way that's hard to explain until you feel it. You stop planning around objects. You start planning around direction. Step 4. Complete legal and administrative ties. Unfinished paperwork does not just create inconvenience, it fragments attention. When taxes, residency, accounts, insurance, renewals, and location-bound obligations are unclear, your mind never fully arrives anywhere. Part of you is always monitoring something unresolved. You know what remains open, you know what closes, you know what stays active, and what is ended. There's no ambiguity running in the background. When this step is complete, your mental energy stops leaking into maintenance mode. That energy becomes available for adaptation and building a new life. Step 5. Complete your visa strategy as a life structure. A visa is not a form, it's a skeleton your life hangs on. Completion here means you understand the rhythm of your life abroad. How long you stay, how long you extend, how you exit, how you return, and what you do if the rules shift. Without this clarity, your life feels provisional. You hesitate to settle in. You hesitate to commit. You hesitate to build routines because everything feels temporary. Completion removes that hesitation. You are no longer reacting to rules. You're living inside a structure you chose knowingly. That difference is the difference between visiting and residing. Step 6. Complete healthcare continuity. Healthcare planning is not about fear. It's about self-respect. Completion here means acknowledging that life continues while you move. You will still need care. You will still age. You will still encounter unpredictability. Completion means you know how prescriptions work for you. You know how routine care happens. You know where to go if something goes sideways. Not in theory, in practice. This step anchors the body so the mind can explore. When this is complete, you stop bracing. You move with grounded confidence instead of optimism. Step 7. Complete basic language function. Language completion is not about mastery. It's about dignity and agency. Completion means you can operate without rescue. You can order food. You can ask for help. You can handle misunderstandings without spiraling. You can solve basic problems without shutting down. You don't need perfect grammar. You need functional independence. This step removes dependence. Dependence creates tension. When this step is complete, the environment stops feeling hostile or overwhelming. It becomes workable. And workable is what allows belonging to develop over time. Step 8. Complete your obligation audit. Not every obligation you feel is real. Some are inherited expectations. Some are emotional contracts you never examined. Some are roles you stepped into without choosing. Completion here means deciding deliberately what you carry forward. You're not abandoning responsibility, you're clarifying it. You name what is truly yours, you name what is optional. You name what is guilt dressed up as duty. When this step is complete, guilt stops driving your decisions. Movement becomes cleaner. You're not running from something, you're moving with integrity. Step 9. Complete a real test stay. This step eliminates fantasy. Completion here means you stay long enough for novelty to resolve. You let boredom show up, you let friction show up, you live the ordinary rhythm. You buy groceries, you pay bills, you deal with inconveniences, you build a routine and see what it does to you. A short trip can be a highlight reel. A real test stay reveals the baseline. When this step is complete, the question changes. It's no longer, can I do this? It becomes, am I willing to live this? That clarity is priceless. Step 10. Complete one irreversible action. This is the final threshold. Nothing becomes real until something cannot be undone. Completion here means choosing an action that removes retreat as an easy option. Sell something meaningful. End a lease. Close an account. Release a safety net you no longer need. This step is not about drama, it's about consequence. Consequence converts intention into identity. Once it's done, preparation ends, movement begins. When these steps are complete, something fundamental shifts. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop reopening old debates. You stop explaining why later might be better. Your energy consolidates. Decisions become cleaner because there is less internal contradiction. You're no longer someone imagining departure. You are someone who has finished staying. That identity does not need motivation. It generates momentum naturally. Completion removes friction. Momentum fills the space. You move through your days differently. You don't browse your future like a menu. You build it like a structure. Your goal is not to feel fearless. The goal is to feel finished. Finished with delay, finished with half decisions, finished with rehearsing the same year. When you finish the right things, you earn movement, not because the world gives you permission, because you stop requiring permission. Even after everything is finished, uncertainty still exists. That's not failure, it's reality. The difference now is that uncertainty no longer controls you, because finished things stay finished. Closed loops stay closed. You might still feel doubt, but doubt becomes weather, not a command. It passes through. Completion gives you a quiet kind of power, not hype, not bravado. A steadiness that comes from knowing you are no longer living in half measures. If this episode stirred something in you, pay attention to that. Not the fantasy of leaving, the quieter signal underneath it. The sense that parts of your life may already be finished, even if you're not acting on it yet. Because once enough things are complete, movement stops feeling like an escape. it feels like alignment. This channel is documenting that transition in real time, step by deliberate step. The decisions, the closures, the irreversible steps that turn intention into reality. If you want to follow the journey as it unfolds, subscribe to the channel and stay connected to the process. The light doesn't wait, and neither should we.